This is a chick-free zone. You say chick, you get banned. We're not having any of that here. Hello. Right. We have a lot of routes to get through. And I don't know if it's Monday or Friday or what. It is Sunday and also the summer holiday. That is a great start. It is now Thursday. Yeah. West Country 3. This has been coming for a while, hasn't it? And I have not driven it in its final state yet. I've clicked around it to make sure it's working, but I haven't actually driven it in its final state yet. So we are very, very close to this being released. I'll let you in on a secret. It's basically whenever Ross reckons it's not going to break the servers. Noisy. Wait a minute. Oh, it is Thursday, but somehow my bus is still here. But it's Thursday now. Fair enough, whatever. Thank you for following. Excuse me while I try to remember how to start a bog bus. Have I just got the sound really quiet? Was it started but I just couldn't hear it? Yep. Yep, I just couldn't hear it. Oh god. Oh no. Oh boy. I'll look forward to that then. Oh no. I didn't sign up for this. But yeah, West Country 3. It has been a heckin' long time coming. Yep. Yes, if anyone says chick, they get immediately timed out. 60-second timeout, that's the standard. That's what we're doing. This is also the first time I've driven it since Jaden rebuilt the park and ride for the 27th time. Wait, what? Hang on, there's a giveaway there. And there's also a... whatever. Presumably that's to go left. Hello, Mr. Nut85. 69 seconds, yes. If anyone comes in here and says Aya or chick, then it's a 69-second timeout for them. That's what we're doing. Completely mature here. Ooh is fine. Right, so what do we want to do first? Because we've got 5 routes. We've got the 35, X35, 10, 12 and 122. I have immediately gone the wrong way. Pro streamer. I was thinking of that junction there. You can tell I've prepared, can I? I've clicked around the map to try and remember basically where I'm going. Shall we start with the 35, because that's like the classic? Also, I'm hoping that this repaint has the higher speed limiter. Because the speed limiter on this thing is set by the repaint. Because it's a set var, because it's just a variable that you set, so you can do anything with it. Okay. Yellow box obstruction gang. But yeah, I haven't driven this since before Jaden rebuilt the park and ride for the 56th time. So I'm curious as to what's changed, and thank you for the other follow. So my plan, and it might take a while, is just to run around and do all the routes. However, I might, for the sake of time, because there's like over 4 hours worth of routes to drive, I might change that because the 35 and X35 start and finish in the same place. They just take different routes to get there. So I might do the 35 one way and the X35 the other. Speaking of which, we should have a look at these lovely timetables that Ross has made that are in the version that I just released, but I haven't put them in here. Hang on. I haven't released anything. Uploaded is the word. The summer timetable. There you go. What do you reckon? So full route map, and thank you for the other follow. Full route map and a very nice set of timetables. So we are Thursday. Time is now 15:07. So 15:07. So we might be able to make an X35 going from Paynton to Totnes High Street. Shall we do that first? No, I haven't logged into the ticketer yet. There we go. Now I've logged in. Oh yeah, so it does. You can probably tell I've been doing more racing than bus driving recently. Yeah, so shall we talk about things the map has and does? So, like I said, 5 routes. Between them, there's about 4.5 hours worth of drive time. So all routes, both directions. There's a huge variety of different types of areas to drive around. So there's there's dual carriageways, and there's suburban roads, and there's urban roads, and there's interurban single carriageway A roads. Yep, don't forget to box for fuel. There's coastal roads. There's a few features that haven't made it to any other maps before this as well. So there's, well, you'll notice it going under this bridge. One of the unique things the map has is a faux shadowing system. So you can see there's a dark region under the bridge. And Jaden's made extensive use of that. The traffic is a mixture of the previous I am not. No. The traffic is a mixture of the previous Bus of the West Country AI pack and the London AI pack. So you'll notice the fire engine going off over the left. At the moment we're at Paynton Royal Hospital, so that's on the left there. That's part of the routes 100 and 122, am I right in that? Is it the 122 that's the other one that stops there? Shut up. Speaking of which, are the audio levels alright? Because they look fine. It's the 12 on the 100, fair enough. Because I switched back from Streamlabs OBS to OBS Studio, and I've spent the last half an hour or so setting everything back up again. So there might be some things that I've set up a bit wrong. Audio's fine, good. So yeah. Cramonch. Semi-trucks in OMSI just don't really work, do they? So yeah, we've got a pretty good mix of sort of urban and interurban driving to do. No, we've got this sort of out of the city centre area. For some reason I particularly like... Oh, hello. I feel like there might be a junction cube there which hasn't had the collision tag removed. Or rather hasn't had the no collision tag added. This feels a lot to me like the areas on the outskirts of Bristol. Just this little bit here. So the 12, so of the routes we've got the 35 and the X35, which you'll all be familiar with because they're basically the same. Well, no, they're nowhere near the same as the original release, and you'll see that as we go along. But they are still Totnes to Paynton, terminating at the train station in Totnes, or actually at the trading state in Totnes now, and also the new Totnes bus station. Actually, do they terminate on the bus station or do they terminate on the high street? I'll run with route markers on to make sure I don't miss anything new. So those follow basically the same route you're all used to, but everything along that route has been changed. So if you haven't seen one of these preview streams before, then it'll be completely unrecognisable compared to version 2.9, which is the last public release. The number 12 is completely new, start to finish. 100% totally new. So it runs along the seafront dual carriageway, up a really steep hill, down a really steep hill again, and ends up at a little seaside fishing town, which is Stoneleigh. Then there's the Park and Ride, which runs to a brand new Park and Ride site on the outskirts of Paignton. Then there's the 122, which is a variant of the 12, which also serves a sort of holiday caravan park, retirement place, something of that ilk. Have I got this right? No, I haven't. This whole area has changed a lot since the last time I drove it. Like, there's a reason why the map was rebranded completely. Yeah. It's a good looking map, I reckon. I think the important thing about it is it gives that sort of that feel of there is a very nice route map. Let me show you the documents folder. So there is a road map of the entire map, so every road labelled. And the other thing is that there is a timetable for every single route which Ross has made, which includes a route map. Which honestly looks better than quite a lot of real timetables. So yeah, I'd say yes, there is a route map. Cremonch. I'm driving with collisions off just because I still don't trust the OMSI AI. Like, I just don't trust it. Like, I've made maps with OMSI AI. I know how bad OMSI AI is. Yes, quite a lot of work has been put in to make it collisions and BCS friendly, including putting actual speed camera signs in specific places so that they don't just throw speed cameras in randomly across the map, and instead put them in where the speed cameras are. Yep, OMSI AI is not a fan of roundabouts. It basically doesn't do it. So you may have noticed the traffic cone on top of a traffic light, sure. So you may have noticed some of the unique features of the map already. There's a few more subtle ones that I'll point out as we go along. So one of the unique features that you may have noticed back here, I pointed out as we went under the bridge, but a few more people have joined since then. But one of the unique features is these faux shadows. So this faint shadowing under these trees, for instance, and under this bridge, which I think really adds a lot. The longest route is... The 12 and the 35 are about the same length, so the 35 is still about the same length as it was in all the old versions of Buses of the West Country. The 12 is a brand new route made from scratch, which is about the same length again. So they're both about 35 minutes long, 30 or 35 minutes long. It depends on the traffic and the time of day. Ah, there you go. The 35 is there you go. The 35 is longer than the 12. Right, we need a route. Monday to Friday. We've got duties. Nope, that's one way. There and back, it's about an hour and a half, including the layover. So we should have a number 30. We should have an X35 departing very soon. There you go, X35. Let's start with the X35. And now, Bog is going to remind me... Jesus, thank you for all the follows. That's a lot of follows. Hang on, let me read some out. Had 3 Scrub 3 Russ, Mr. Nut 85, Tea with 2 Sugars and Norfolk Buses, who I swear subscribed to me ages ago, but hi again. Mike Omsey, Sanarianir 4C86, Aleko, and Ben Carter 14. Yes, now what's going to happen is that Bog is going to remind me how to use the destination controller on his buses. There is a full destination list included with the map. So X35 should be 3536. Bollocks. Fucked it. It'll actually be code 60, okay. Well, we make a new one then. 60. There we go, Totnes Limited Stop. Very nice.
Hiya.
Hello, driver.
Presumably it's not stalling, it's the start-stop system. Okay, so this is the X35 stop. Good, I got it right. And that'll be the bus that I've replaced because it'll be heading back off to the depot. Right, so what are we? We are 15, 19. Okay, so we need to start up in a moment. There is a dual carriageway on the map. It is on the Route 12, which is directly ahead. So I will get around to that later. But we're going to start off by doing the classic route. We're going to start off by doing the 35. Yeah, that's odd, isn't it? That should be time to go. If we put it in gear first. I wanted I mean, this was local to me for like the first 3 years of its operation. Like, I lived in Durham. So I'm very familiar with this particular livery, and I just wanted a livery that wouldn't have the speed limiter enabled. So I thought, an express livery, that'll do. An express livery that I'm familiar with and quite like. I'll go with that one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to doing those routes.
Hello there.
See, the thing I like about it is that it has a really good mix. Because it's not just countryside, but it's also not just city. Like, we've got rural stuff, we've got coastal stuff, we've got urban stuff. There's a lot of variety. Yeah, then there's all the major towns in the map are very different to each other. There's also so there's a couple of brand new towns. So I've obviously got Paynton and Totnes and Berry Pomeroy. Berry Pomeroy has changed completely. I mean, so have Paynton and Totnes, but they've all changed completely. But hello. Then there's Stoneleigh, which is brand new. There's... oh god, what's that? And I can't remember the names of the other two new villages. Give me 2 seconds, I'll be back with you. Rodwick Down and Thornford Regis. Those are the two new villages. And thank you for following Lee. You joined me at a traffic light. Stop announcements. No, they're not planned. I'm sure that somebody will make a set of stop announcements, though. And Steve. Presumably Steve. Stevodge. If your parents gave you the name Stevodge, I'm so sorry.
Hiya, driver.
The release will be sooner than you think. Like, the coming soon message on Fellsfilm really means coming soon.
Hello, is it me you're looking for?
And oh yes, it's the voice pack. The one you all know and love. You'll find out. One of the reasons why we're being a bit tight-lipped about it is because we don't want to break the servers. So what you'll probably find is you'll wake up one morning to find that it was released in the middle of the night when nobody was there to download it and break the servers. Because then, when you download it, like, if I were to say, go, right now, then what would probably happen is the Fellsfilm servers would fall over because everybody who's here would try and go to download all 1.2 gigabytes of it all at once. Very. This is basically the finished thing that you're looking at right now. It is intended to, but you'd have to ask Jaden. But yeah, if we released it right now while everyone's here looking at it and waiting for it, then what would happen is all of you would go and try and download it all at once, and you'd all go and break the servers, and then none of you would get it, and it would all be a bit sad. So instead what we're going to do is we're going to just drop it quietly overnight. And then you'll wake up one morning to find that it's there, and that'll spread out all the downloads nicely, so nobody will break anything. I can't tell you because I don't really run what you'd call low-end hardware anymore. I used to run pretty low-end hardware, but then I got a job and I bought some higher-end hardware. So I can't really tell you how well it runs on low-end hardware anymore. I bet Ross will stay up later than you. Yep. It'll be very soon though, don't you worry. Unless we find any last minute big problems, it'll be very soon. And basically, like, this has already been through several weeks of testing, so we're unlikely to find any last minute big problems. Yes, it is, and it also skips both the villages on the way. So the X35 sticks to the main roads all the way between Paynton and Totnes, and the 35 winds its way around all the villages. So it keeps going off the main road, diving into a village, coming back onto the main road again. So there is a good amount of variation between them. Like, it used to be, in version 2.9, it used to be just the X35 was... the X35 just skipped Berry Pomeroy, and that was the only difference between them, but now they're much more different. No, that is an included route. There are 5 routes included in the release. There is the 35, X35, 100, which is the park and ride, 12 and 122. There is some crossover between the routes, so basically the unique routes are the 100 is, it mostly uses roads made for the 35, but it does go off the beaten track a bit. Then there's the 122 and the 12. Don't do that. Just let it come out. It'll drop, don't you worry. The 122 and the 12 share most of the same roads. The 122 is basically a more wiggly version of the 12. And the 35 and X35, again, follow most of the same route, but there is some significant variation between them. I'm going to check how far... I suspect I'm a long way ahead of time, not behind time, so I'm going to stop and check. Yeah, so the next stop is at 15:31. So I'll lay by for a moment. It will be released very soon. And like I was mentioning just a moment ago, it will be released at a point when very few people are online, completely deliberately, because if it was released when... yeah. If it was released while all of you are watching and waiting for it, then you'd all go and break the server. So we don't want that to happen. I don't think the alternate AI packs are included. In fact, I can check. Yep, no alternate AI packs. Not for the time being. Oh, that would be a good one to take round here, wouldn't it? The B70L. Maybe I'll go and grab the B70L after this. And do the 12 with the B70L. That would be good. Well, maybe we'll do the way back from Totnes with the V5LH. You made it. Have you seen the Morphe mod for it? I mean, yes, you have seen the Morphe mod for it, haven't you? Because I saw you posting in his thread. It's nice that he's on Fellas Film now. Now this is the completely new park and ride site. Rebuilt again. Maybe I'll go and get Morphe's mod for the route back then. We are on the 35 at the moment. We are on the X35 in fact. Ah. Tremonch. This is why I'm not driving with collisions on. Now that sounds interesting. So this is where we basically sit on the A road for a bit. So the number 35 goes off and wiggles around the villages along here, and we on the X35 just floor it. So we skip most of these stops too. See, here's where the 35 and the X35 start to diverge. So the 35 goes off through Thornton Regis there. I couldn't tell you, I've never used Omni Navigation. This is a bit that I quite like because you can see the other road that the 35 uses running parallel to this one for a little bit, and then it dives off to the right and off into the village. And you can see the fake shadowing here as well, the faux shadowing. So between the trees, since they'd be casting a lot of shadow on the roads, we've... So I came up with a decal system for the ground, and I happened to make a shadow version of it, and Jaden started putting them everywhere, so I went, oh, and made a more optimised version of that. And thank you, Romford Transport. One thing that I haven't really showed you is the ambient sounds. Because over by the seaside you can hear the sound of the crashing waves on the shore. And Kirkford. Yeah. So I started out ahead of time, and now, because I'm in a street deck, I'm behind time. Because 4 cylinders. There's also plenty of unique place names and company names along the map. And Skylar. I'm gonna go with 47 kilometers per hour, miles per hour rather, which would be 80 kph? Ah yeah, the useless channel points. They really aren't worth anything, are they? See, now I'm not within... Now I'm not within tolerance anymore. Now I'm bang on time. Like, having been ahead of time, now I'm on time. And whose fault is that? And another follow. Thank you, Reese French. And we're doing the streaming thing right. You know, the thing where you say everybody's names, so that they feel like they're involved. 75, that sounds about right. And whose fault is that? Is that anyone's fault but your own? Yep, here, clever boy. Nope. Oh, that bug's still there from version 2.9 then, where people from across the street at this, just at this one stop, people from across the street are the people who decide to try and get on board. Right, how are we doing for time? 15:37, 15:36. We'll pause for just a moment again then. So you can probably see Totnes is completely different to the currently released version. Basically we enter Totnes from the opposite direction now. So whereas before we would have gone straight on here and gone into Totnes that way, now we take a right. This map is going to map! Yeah! Oh yeah, it's gonna map alright. Well, there's no reason not to. Just nobody's bothered to do it yet. But this map does have a whole bunch of its own unique features. So the faux shadowing that I've mentioned before, the faux shadowing I've mentioned before is a unique feature that this map has that hasn't been seen on any other maps before. Animated waves, that's another one. The seaside. So Jaden made the seaside and it just looked kind of flat. And there was just something off about it, so I decided to try making animated waves, and they turned out pretty well. Like, they don't look so great if you just focus on them directly, but if you're just driving past the seafront, then they look pretty great. I think the bit that's most similar is probably the stretch of A Road around Dartvale Farm. And that's probably about it. Like, most of the tiles are still the same tiles. And everything's in the same place as it was. But it's basically like all the roads are new. Also, I think we have as many people now as we had for the London release stream. And this isn't the release stream, so release is very, very soon, sooner than you think. We are not going to release it on stream like we did with London, because London we could do that because it was on Steam, which meant and Steam can basically handle any amount of downloads. Like, Steam is not going to fall over. So but this one's being released on Fellas Film, and Fellas Film has its servers to think about. So it's going to be released when there are fewer people online to spread out the initial surge of downloads. So what's going to happen is you're going to wake up one day and you're going to find that it has been released at like 3 in the morning or something while everyone was asleep. And the reason we're doing it that way is just to spread out the downloads so that so that we don't make the servers fall over. Also a bit of bus priority there. And don't stay up till 3, like, if you stay up till 3 AM because I've said that it'll be released at 3 AM, then we'll just release it at 4 AM, you know? Ambulance that might have got slightly stuck on the roundabout, because OMSI AI loves roundabouts. How are we doing for timetable? Yeah, it was about 4 years ago, wasn't it? This is one of the first custom junctions that I made, as in fully custom, make the entire thing in Blender junctions. It's one of the very first ones. The 525 is the plan here. So you can see we've got the roads laid all the way up this hill, which lead up to the castle at the top. Obviously this bit isn't scenic in or anything. But yeah, really good steep hill. It's really fun to drive up. And it's one of the first... presumably it was attending an emergency on this side of the road. Or maybe it picked them up, threw them in the back, and is headed back off that way now. The route going that way will probably be the 525, I would think. I don't know, though. Oh, the other thing you might notice is all the vans are memes. Of one sort or another. Or they're jokes, anyway. They're not exactly memes. Pretty much everything is tongue-in-cheek. I think there's a Peugeot falling down a flight of stairs somewhere. There you go, that's what happened. That's exactly what happened. They had a more important emergency to attend. But yeah, these van liveries I was originally going to include with London, but because of the whole out of memory issues stuff that we were trying to deal with, as part of that I cut them all out. This is the fire station. And then once we get to the end here, we will turn around and do the route back as the number 35, going through all the villages. I think one of the things Jaden's tried to do is he's tried to make all the bus stops unique. So it's not just pulling up at the side of a flat curb. There's always something going on at the stops that makes them a bit more interesting. Yep. The classic. I mean, we're pretty much there now. Yep, this is what happens when I stream releasing something in OMSI instead of, or not releasing, but previewing for a very, very soon release, instead of just driving my silly little race cars. Nobody wants to see me driving race cars. Totnes High Street. The new Totnes High Street. And that is where the X35 terminates. So, yeah. And then there is a bus station over here. But I believe the AI ignores the bus station and goes around this way. Yes, there is a pride crossing, there are pride flags. Totnes is very much that kind of town. Ooh. Ooh. Well, this is a perfect opportunity to go and download Morphe's pack for the B5LH, because I saw that on Fella's Film recently and thought I should try that. Where's it gone? There it is. Look, me on the stream, People be liking the screenshots. Download, Samsy 2, bus mods, hybrid system improvement, download. README, what does the README say? Installation, yeah, blah 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 blah. Optional step, if you want to have the RPM notes, yeah. No, I am not going to go through and do that. I am just going to dump it into the folder. Now we'll take option A, please. And then I should probably restart the game because it might have already loaded all the stuff for it. Oh yes, the other thing we'll need... Does anyone want to recommend a livery? Because the other thing we'll need is we'll need a livery that includes a higher speed limiter. He is, yeah. So, what do you reckon? What would you recommend? Oh, the mod breaks the speed limiter? Oh, fair enough. Fair enough. Well, I guess we'll just see then. We'll just launch it and see. So, that's one of the routes. And obviously it's the same time again, the opposite direction. So now we're going to do the number 35, which goes from the trading estate over to Paynton. So it doesn't just follow the same route but go off in the villages. It also has a longer end segment because instead of starting and ending in the centre of Totnes, it actually goes whee. That's having a good time. Well, something happened there. It actually goes out to a new trading estate out this way. Yep, his map is going to be lit. And thank you, AC. In fact, tell you what, let's start out in the Totnes depot. That's another thing which is new. Is Totnes has its own depot now. So in fact, let's start out in the Totnes depot and then run from the trading estate all the way back to Paynton. And thank you, Jumper. I'm going to need to get a snack. In fact, I have a snack. Right, is there a separate version for Morphe's mod? No, okay, fair enough. And Reese. There is a set of timetable leaflets which Ross has made. There is one for the 35 as well. I didn't know, it's just not here right now because this is a version which didn't have them in. But Ross has done a fantastic job of making extremely professional looking leaflets for every route. So you can see, like, yeah, these are great. Like, these are just great. They just look so professional. And they show you exactly what every route does. So yeah, they're great. So that's the 12. The 12 runs from Paynton Hospital through Paynton to Stoneleigh. The 122 just runs from Paynton to Stoneleigh, but it goes via Ferncombe Sands. The 100 goes to the Park and Ride via the hospital. In fact, let's open up the other ones which will be included in the download as well, because there's also the 35x35 one. So there you go. There's the high street, there's the train station, there's the trading estate, and the 35 is the longest route by far because it actually goes further than it used to, because it used to end here at the train station, but now it ends over here at the trading estate. So it is fire system pressure, okay. If there is, I haven't found it. It's 15:47. It is a Monday to Friday. Oh, perfect. Need to get a move on though. Now I need to work out which service that is, which duty that is. So yeah, Ross is going to make duty cards in a bit. That one. Hey, full electric mode. Isn't that neat? Yeah, that feels like a B5LH. I like that. I haven't tried this mod before. So yeah, there's a new Totnes bus depot, which is in the middle of this trading estate. It would probably run for about 30 seconds. Like the hybrid system on a B5LH isn't like a proper drive fully on electric mode hybrid system. It basically what it's for is to store energy used under braking and then use that to get it back up to speed again under acceleration, then turn the engine back on. Yeah, it's a very clever system, but also a very odd system. Ah, now we're going to have a problem here. Yeah, there you go. Continue to roundabout for 35 start. Right, so Ross, what's the code for this route? Yeah, that's the thing, is that the TL is basically an LH, where they took the battery and the motor out of it, so you're just left with a tiny little generator trying to move an entire bus. Ah. 52. There we go. So we're going to be a little late to start this one because we're going to have to scoot over to the roundabout to turn around. And low, I'm doing alright. We've just done the number X35. Now we're about to start the number 35, which now starts over at a trading estate instead of where it used to, at the train station. So it's actually quite a lot longer than it used to be. Or like 5 minutes longer. I liked the B5LHs when I lived in Durham. I got very used to them, like I spent quite a lot of time going between Durham and Newcastle on them. Thank you, Matt. Yes, I can. Do you want to see what I can see? There's a bit of junk on my desk at the moment because we're doing a bit of a clear out. Let's see if you can see what I can see. How wide's your field of view? Is enough to see? There you go.
Hello there.
And I'm using the gear lever as a handbrake. Hello. I do OMSI stuff. Is that facing my face? You'll have to tell me because I don't have any way of seeing at the moment. I do OMSI stuff. I develop my own OMSI stuff. And I do sim racing stuff. I do endurance racing events mostly. So just this weekend I did a 12-hour long race at the world's most terrifying racetrack. Which started out predictably, but then went surprisingly well from there on. Fair enough. Camera good. I think what I'm going to need to do is... So I have my pile of original monitors that I used to use down here. So what I might do, like, I need to sell some of them in order to pay for the new one, basically. But what I might do is I might keep one of them and mount it above the big screen so I can see the Twitch chat at the same time. Because at the moment I'm using my phone or my tablet to do it. We'll find out. It should be, because it has a little 5-litre 4-cylinder engine, but it also has the electric hybrid assistance. But yeah, so the 35. The 35 is... In terms of what it does, it's kind of the original route that you all know and love. As in, it goes from Totnes to Paignton and back again via Berry Pomeroy.
Ah, yeah.
But every bit of the route has changed, and there's also an extension at this end of the route now, so it starts and finishes. There's a once-an-hour extension to the trading estate over here. So the longest route in the map is the 35 extended to the trading estate, which takes about 40 minutes each way. It's very common now. Yes, most buses have tiny little engines nowadays. Yep. Because the thing is, a big engine uses a lot of fuel even when you're not using a lot of its potential. So what you do is you use a... Am I going the right way? Yes, I am. I thought so. Sorry, I just realised that I didn't actually remember... Typical DPD. Yeah, that's the one. That's what happens. There won't be, because in the 2030s, you're not allowed to sell internal combustion engined cars anymore. Actually, I don't think that applies to commercial vehicles. And here's the new train station. Which I think Jaden has insisted on still calling Totnes train station, just because that'll annoy people who know the correct terminology as rail station. Well, the thing that happens is the engines last about 2 years now. I am using Morpheus B5LH. And it feels lovely, actually. I like it. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so the old way of doing things was put a big engine in a bus, because that big engine would work a long way under its maximum capacity, and that means it would have a very long life. But the problem is that big engines use a lot of fuel when they're idling, and buses spend a lot of time idling. So what they've done is they've replaced the big engines with small engines that can produce just about enough power for the maximum power output, but they use a lot less fuel when they're idling. And the problem with that, as you might expect, is that you're not running something at half its maximum capacity, you're running it at all of its maximum capacity in order to get the same power output, and that means you blow up a lot of engines. Yep, we're back on the classic route now. It won't be very long, and performance is surprisingly good considering the size and complexity of the map. Like, there's nowhere in the map which goes down to the... Well, that's what ADL does. So, the only company that hasn't downsized their engines is ADL, because ADL still uses the big 6.7 litre 6-cylinder engines. So, Volvo and Wright have both gone to using little 5 litre 4-cylinder engines, but ADL still uses big 6.7 litre 6-cylinder engines, and they seem to last a lot longer. But, yes, exactly, so as Bog says, Wright has just introduced a version of the Street Deck which has a new 6-cylinder engine, which is basically because the ones with the 4-cylinder engines were just blowing up. Especially in hilly places.
What?
Just gonna take my mirror off there, it's fine. Whoa, the chat's running fast. I need to get a monitor up I can see the chat on. Actually, give me 2 seconds. Because I think, yeah, there we go. I can put my chat over the top of my OMSI. And then I can have you text in, like, bigger letters, so I can actually read it while I'm driving. There we go. See, no, smart hybrid is a genuine thing, because basically what you're doing is, so typically all the ancillary stuff on a bus is run by compressed air, and the compressed air is driven by an air compressor that is attached to the engine running all the time. But what a smart hybrid does is it recovers instead of using compressed air to run all the secondary things, it uses electricity recovered under braking. So instead of having to waste energy from the engine, it's ooh, Borger. I don't know if I'm going to manage to put this down somewhere, but thank you. Let's finish the route and hope the dog doesn't eat that before I finish. Yep, but buses can recover a lot of energy under braking because they're obviously very heavy and they start and stop a lot. So if you can recover a fraction of the energy that you waste under braking. So basically what brakes do, so energy conservation, you cannot destroy or create energy. So when you press the brakes in a vehicle, all that energy has to go somewhere. So that energy is just turned into heat in the brake discs.
Hello.
And that's just wasting it. Because all that happens is that heat is then spread out into the world at large. Oh, hit the microphone. And does nothing useful. So you've had to burn fuel to put that energy into the vehicle to get it moving. But then when you press the brakes, you've got all this spare energy lying around, which you really want to keep because, you know, you've burnt fuel to get it. It costs money to make that... it costs money to make that momentum in the first place. And then you press the brakes and it all goes flying out the window. So the important thing that hybrids do is when you press the brakes, instead of throwing the energy away, what it does is it gathers it up and puts it back into a battery so it can use it later. Either, in the case of a smart hybrid, it can use it for things like running the lights and the heating and stuff like that. Or, in the case of a full hybrid, it'll have an electric motor which it can use to actually start the bus up again. And it'll recover energy under braking and then use that same energy to get rolling again. Which is why hybrids are good. That's the one. So now you know how a hybrid works. Congratulations. There's all sorts of finer details like series hybrids and parallel hybrids and this, that and the other.
What?
Oh, bloody hell. Good for you. What one did you go for? There's the one that I like at the moment is the... I mean, I'm not about to buy an electric car. I couldn't possibly pay for one. But the one that I like at the moment is that that Kia one. I can't remember what it's called. It's basically just an electric version of a normal family car. And that's good because, like, that's what electric cars are going to have to become. They're going to have to be just cars, you know? E-Nero, yes, that's the one I was thinking of. Though the one I really like the look of now is that new Hyundai one. The Hyundai Ioniq 5, I think is what it's called. Fair enough. What this? It's a nice jumper, I like it. Appropriate name, Jumper 1066 loves the jumper. Like, yep, that checks out. Yeah, an electric vehicle is almost 100% efficient in energy conversion. Like, electric motors are insanely efficient. They're like 98% efficient. Like, a petrol or a diesel engine only is about... The maximum theoretical limit for internal combustion engine efficiency is about 60%. If you made the perfect engine, it would be about 60% efficient at converting that fuel into motion. Oh, that's awesome. My man living in 2035. I hope it works out. Oh, come on, get out the bus quicker. But yeah, it's internal combustion engines are insanely inefficient. Oh, there's that typical bug that you get with OMSI attached to spline on hills. Still don't know why that happens. It's pretty easy to fix, but annoying to fix. This thing climbs hills well. That'll be the extra torque from the electric motor. Ah, it's fun. Let it be fun. Ah, see now that is next-gen thinking. That's the kind of thinking that we need to solve the climate crisis. Hamsters in the boot. Tell you what, here's the other thing you should do. Plants absorb carbon dioxide. So what you do is you get a trailer and you fill the trailer with plants, right? And then what you do is you pipe the exhaust fumes from the car into the trailer.
Hello there.
Okay, Overlord Noel, have you ever heard of a bicycle? Instead of using a bike to charge your car, why not ride a bike? These things were so much better on the... It's a mixture. That's true. What, you walk into your trailer full of tomato plants to pick some ripe, juicy tomatoes grown on your homemade organic exhaust fumes, and you just get knocked out by the nitrous oxide in the trailer. Right, so now we get on to one of the bits which has really changed from the current release. This is the Newberry Pomeroy. Yeah, they signalled too late. It's their fault, not mine. But yeah, this is the Newberry Pomeroy. It is completely different. For one thing, it's on the other side of the road to where it used to be. Okay, yeah, the Newberry Pomeroy that was built about 5 years ago. Yes, this map really has been in development for a long time, and thank you for the follow, DJ. Right, how are we doing on time? 1608, 1608. Why are you yellow then? But yeah, this map has been in development for a long time. No, 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 no. Just West Country now. Wenstrom. Yeah, that was the original plan. And yeah, basically it got renamed because of Breath of the Wild. Because you look up BOTW now, and you come up with Breath of the Wild. Yeah, release very, very soon. Either. I'll take either. Yep, well, we're going to do that next. I may have to take a small break to eat a burger. Yep, they're great routes. See, here's the thing. American Truck Simulator has a little bit of code in it which, when you've been waiting at a junction for a while, if you're not able to get out of the junction, it actually thins out the traffic and gives you a gap to pull out in. OMSI doesn't. No, the Fiesta's still lying around outside, not doing anything. Battery's flat again. Again. This thing's speedy. Bloody hell. Whee! Right, and now we get to the completely new village.
Hello.
Or the right final drive ratio. Yeah, but it also stops people from dying from asthmatic attacks and lung cancer. So, you know, it's kind of swings and roundabouts. That's the thing. Like, there was a thread on Fellas Film a while ago which said, should London have more variety of buses with a poll? Yes, no. And it's like, London Transport is not operated for transport enthusiasts. It's operated to get people from one place to another. I feel like this is a fact which is lost on some people. Yep, that sounds about right to me. Old Tat is good though. See, that's where the enthusiasts come in, is keeping Old Tat running. Like, keep one or two of the Old Tat going. am I doing on timing? Only 1 minute ahead. Yeah, but as a whole, like, fleet purchasing decisions are not made based on enthusiasm. Is the Luton busway single deckers only? I mean, we have MMCs all over the... Oh, do you mean E200 MMCs? See, that's the thing. Is it takes 40 minutes to charge, but it takes 40 minutes to charge either while you're inside at the service station having a coffee, or 40 minutes to charge while you're at home doing... just getting on with your day. You don't have to actively drive to a petrol station and fill it with fuel. The thing this mod is missing is the sound of the electric motor whining as it starts up. Yeah, but even if it's 8 hours, like, you just leave it on overnight and then it's done. It's ready. And, like, most of the time, the thing is, the quoted figures, like 8 hours, 12 hours, that's for a full charge. And most of the time you don't need a full charge, because most days you've gone about maybe 20 miles. So if you've got a 200-mile battery, you know, it's... yeah. Well, fair enough. OMSI AI and roundabouts. Name a more iconic duo. That's the thing. Like, most of the time you aren't charging the battery from completely flat to completely full. The 35 is every 15, I think? No. The X35 and 35 combined are every 15. The 35 extends to the trading estate once an hour, so it varies. It has a longer route that it follows once an hour. I was not prepared for that stop. Let's have a look at some timetables, because I'm a bit ahead of time anyway. That's the Sunday timetable. There you go. 4 an hour for the 35. Yes. Oh, you mean in terms of duty cards? I don't know. Yep, that's the 12 is every 15 minutes. The 122 is every half an hour. And the 100 is every 10 minutes. There you go. Those are all the frequencies. Actually, we are 2 minutes ahead of time. Oh yeah. And then we've got the destination. Presumably this is just the same as the one that's on the back of the cab. Tell you what, while we're waiting for the time to go down, let's just grab the B70L. Because I feel like that's going to be a good bus for the next route. Yeah, the timetabling is set up to be realistic rather than tight. Yeah, and then I guess we'll just use an open topper for the very last route. Yeah, close enough. So I guess the original B5LH scripts and Morphe's B5LH scripts have sort of come at it from opposite directions, because I believe what the normal one has done is it's taken an automatic gearbox and tried to make it into an automated manual. So an automatic gearbox and tried to manualize it, and then the Morphe version has taken a manual script and automaticized it. $22. Tell you what, I am going to get a drink of water. That's better. I've been talking for about an hour and a half straight and I haven't had a drink, which is not a sensible idea, as it turns out. Right, we're on time again. There are timing points across the routes. There are places where you can sit for a few minutes, or half a minute or whatever, until you're, if you're ahead of time. Yes, the 35 and X35 together are every 15, or they're not every 15 minutes, they are 4 per hour. The 12 is every 15, the 122 is every 30, and the 100 is every 10. Yes, that is correct. And there are separate timetables for Sundays. Yep, BT out of reach. You can thank 01188 or 0118 blah 0118999 88199 9119725 Well, there's London. You can't forget about London. London is actually the most successful OMSI DLC of all times. Of all time. I've never actually watched it. I just know the song. There are plenty of AI services running around. There aren't any services which are only AI though, if that's what you mean. That's just AI versions of the things. You know, the things. The regular routes. Has the AI traffic broken up ahead by any chance? Not in this lane. It has in the other lanes. There you go, there are some AI buses. And yep, they've gridlocked, because OMSI AI is a wonderful thing which works extremely well all of the time. Sorry? Apology accepted. This is not a DLC at all, this is a free mod which will be released very shortly. The bus, though, is the Master Switch Gen 3 pack.
Hi, handsome.
Yeah, the map is West Country 3, which will be released very soon for free on fellasfilm.com. The bus is the Master Switch Gen 3 pack, which is available on Steam. Oh, I've been keeping a very close eye on the bus, yep. Like, I've been keeping an eye on whether the... well, particularly whether the... they're not rivals, they're made by this... wait, are they? Wait, no, sorry, I'm mixing it up. The bus is made by TML. But yeah, basically I'm keeping an eye on whether it has the right mod tools to make good mod maps. Because, as some of you will know, I've made it an hour and a half without mentioning it. Yeah, and those. I've made it an hour and a half without mentioning it, but as some of you might know, recently, or not that recently now, I started working on my own simulator. Because I've kind of kept looking at Lotus and the bus and whatnot, and thinking, you're just not doing it right. Like, and thinking that I could do it better. So I kind of decided to put my money where my mouth is. There are not at the moment, no. So yeah, for the last couple of months I've been working on my own bus simulator. With blackjack and hookers. Which is designed from the ground up to be completely moddable. So basically the reason why I almost stuck in the left lane there, you can see me accelerating for it. So basically the reason why I don't think the bus is going to be the right... why I don't think it's going to be what people want is because it's built in a general purpose game engine, and well, it's the thing with general purpose game engines like Unity and Unreal is they're great, but they're not designed to be user moddable, or they're not designed to have content made for them outside of the engine's own editor, so the Unreal editor or the Unity editor. And those editors, for the average user, are way over complex and can also do more than you actually want them to be able to do. I may show off mine at the end of this stream, but you know, I brought you here for I brought you here for Buses of the West Country, or rather West Country 3, and I'm not going to do the old switcheroo on you and swap it out for my own midway through. Just aha! But yeah, I've been working on it. Like, in my opinion, the map editor ought to be as much the game as the driving is. if you see what I mean. Like, the map editing should be fun. Like, making your own little world should be one of the fun bits. It shouldn't be labour, you know? It shouldn't be, like, painful, but you do it for the result. It should be just enjoyable to do. It's traditional to show it, yes. Maybe at the very, very end, when we've done all the routes, maybe I'll show it then. Something like 2 years' time, that kind of thing. I've got a couple of people helping me now. Like, I started out on my own, but now I have a few people helping. Like people I know from uni, family. That's a thing I want to do. I would very much like to let you drive around on, walk around on foot. So there's sort of two angles I'm coming at for my own simulator. One of them is basically, you can think about it in two ways. One of them is OMSI with easier map making tools and better graphics and performance. And the other one is city skylines, but with the ability to get down on the ground and walk around. Get her off more quickly next time. Yeah, most of the time I've spent so far, like I'm kind of splitting the time between making my own sim and making Farthington. Most of the time I've spent so far has basically been spent making a game engine on top of a game engine, because, like I mentioned earlier, general purpose game engines are designed to have content made for them in their game engine, and that is not a user-friendly experience if you just want to make a map. Like, the tools aren't streamlined, they're made for software developers, not for people playing a game. And you have to download the game engine's editor in order to be able to make anything, and then you have to compile it down to the right format, and it's just all very unfriendly and inaccessible. So the thing that I've been spending most of my time doing so far has been basically I've taken a general purpose game engine, I'm using that for the graphics, I'm using it for the memory management, I'm using it for the physics engine, but not the but not things like vehicle physics and whatnot. That's all separate. Yes, that's the other thing, is that if you make if your game is only moddable by using the general purpose game engine to make the mods, you have no control over what the mods do. If you see what I mean. See, I've generally seen the physics in OMSI being pretty much universally praised. Right, so, tell you what, let's run the 122. So we should have finished downloading this now. Yep. Yep, RIP bus station. Yeah, but the problem with that is that it's all runtime scripting language. Oh, the tyres are terrible. As in, so all the scripting... So what you normally have in... any game... Sorry, I'll keep talking after... Hang on, I need to reload so it reloads the vehicle list. There's a lot more to vehicle physics than that. You will not be able to import things like buses directly from OMSI into MySim. The reason being that if it was completely compatible with everything from OMSI, then it would inherit all of OMSI's limitations. Anyway, so the thing I was saying is that normally in a game, everything is coded in a language which is compiled down to assembly language that your computer's processor understands natively and which is very, very efficient. What OMSI does is that almost everything it does is done in runtime interpreted script. So what it's actually doing is it is loading script files off the disk, reading them and interpreting them. And it's having to do that at runtime, and that is very slow to do. And that's part of the reason why OMSI performs terribly. Part of the reason, it's not all of the reason. Right, so let's do the number 122, then let's do the number 12, then let's do the number 100 to finish, and we'll call it a day. So 15 and 45, what time is it now? So we'll do the 45, I would say. So where's a 122? What duty is it going to be? Ross, you need to make the duty cards. What duties do there? There we go. That's 122 2 Paynton. That's 122 2 Stoneleigh. There we go. That's the one. That's the one we want. Now, how do you destination display on this? And we don't have the route card in this one, so I will go grab the route card from the folder. Destination list. 122. Paynton to Stoneleigh. 122 200. Is it? No, it's not that one. Nope. Is that the one? 01. There we go, we got there. Yeah, it's basically an IBIS. Oh boy. Really, we should be doing the 122 in the open topper. Yeah, so, seafront. Let's just move off this for a moment. Seafront, you might be able to hear the seagulls. What you might not be able to hear is the sound of the rushing waves. And you can also see the moving seafront waves. The live steering wheel. The live steering wheel is a program called Open Joystick Display. So here it is. And it is just mapped to my steering wheel and pedals. It comes with a Logitech steering wheel preset. And then what I'm doing is I'm capturing this window in OBS, and then I'm filtering out the blue, so I'm cutting the blue out. so old-fashioned bus, old-fashioned timetable, 45. We're already late. Pog. So, the 122 and the 12 are the seafront routes. I might have said Pog. So they have a combination of seafront driving and dual carriageway driving. The 122 visits a holiday park on the way through, which is the one we're doing now. Well, the indicator sound. POG originally stood for Play of the Game, as in... Oh, rather just the engine sound, yeah. It's a great bus, and I'm going to floor it all the way. Yep. It stands for Play of the Game. I think it comes from CSGO, where the play of the game was the most impressive kill or the moment that won the game or something like that. But nowadays it's just POG. I'm going to have to turn the indicators off while I'm sitting at a stop. Basically, yeah, except that it's more satisfying to say than MVP. Overwatch, fair enough. It sounds so good. I honestly just don't care, this just sounds great. Hello, chicken fried noodles. I believe that Bog might be on that one already. I'm alright. We've been through the 35 and the X35. And now we're scooting along the number 122. So the 122 is basically a tourist seafront route, so it's mostly designed for open toppers, but we're running with a B70L because I really want to drive the B70L up the hill at the end of the route. Yeah, I had a pretty good birthday. Yep, it's thrash o'clock. And yep, there are the animated waves again. Hello there. I did not get a chocolate orange. Which in my books is a positive. There'll be some use for it, yeah. It's not really the right kind of route for it, but there'll be some use for it. But yeah, so the 122 is basically a tourist route along the seafront designed for open toppers. The 12 is more of a local route, so it's a very similar route, but it's more just sort of the local route. It goes from the hospital straight to the straight to Stoneleigh, while the 122 goes from the centre of Paignton, so the touristy bit of Paignton, via a holiday park over to Stoneleigh. Yep. Realistic. God, this thing sounds good. And this is the holiday park I was talking about. It will, yes. Seaside to the left of us. Bungalows to the right. And one thing you might notice is that in a lot of places the buildings have been retextured to have appropriate names for the places where they are. So like this, you might notice, is Ferncombe Sands reception. Yeah, I commuted on one of those for a while when I had a job in Weston-super-Mare. What are all these guys waiting for? I don't know if it's been implemented seasonally here as well. It might have been. I know that some of the routes are seasonal. There you go. Summer months only. It is seasonal in the game as well. There you go. They thought of that. What this route really needs is an older open topper. Yeah. An open top ALX 400 would be perfect. Yes, I suspect I might be here a while. I feel like OMSI's traffic might have broken slightly. Okay, it's not broken, it's just that there's a set of traffic lights up there. Or maybe it is slightly broken. Yeah, I might be here a little while. Because, like, I'd push out into this traffic, but I don't think the AI is going to. No, it isn't. Oh, it twitched. It twitched there. Yeah, I think that this needs a separate path going this way so that cars turning to the right don't hold it up. See, the thing is, I think we're possibly... Well, the cars in front of us are just going to despawn gradually now. Because that's OMSI's answer to having broken traffic, is just make cars despawn. This might be a good opportunity for a Borger. Borger. Mayo. Yep, Borger's still pretty warm. Yep. That'll probably be a post-release thing. I think we're only going to get to the front of this queue as the traffic actually despawns in front of us. Yep, homemade Borger. I might turn the microphone off. Obviously we could just skip the traffic, seeing as we're living in a simulation. I feel like that junction needs fixing. Yep. I wasn't around for Newcastle left-hand traffic. I joined after that. Yeah, that's a very early one. We are currently 5.5 minutes late. Ah, but you see, if I skip the traffic, I also have to skip the burger. Yeah, to be fair, the only thing unrealistic about this is there aren't 12 caravans in the queue. I wonder what the criteria is for an AI vehicle to disappear. Like, is it just time? Or is it another vehicle has spawned and there aren't enough AI vehicle slots left to let it spawn, so it removes one? Or, I don't know. I will skip what's left of the traffic when I've had my burger. There are no separate AI lists at the moment. Borger has been completed. Commence Operation Floor It. Yes, I have been doing plenty of work to Farthington recently. I don't think I'm going to make up 11 minutes of delay somehow. I have no idea. I'm not working on it. Those guys really like that one little bit of curb over there on the left. No, I know, but I'm going to floor it anyway. Yep, the sea is still on the left. We'll be going along the seafront again in a moment.
What?
Hello.
I think you and half the country. Affectionate term for children. Yeah, brats. There you go. I think the cooling fans kicked in there. Right, we're flooring it. Yeah, back of the bus. Now we get the seafront again. Yep. Followed by flooring it. Then there's this hill. Those are cooling fans. Come on, come on. Power! Yeah, well, the B5's not going to make it. Yeah, the B5LH is fine. There are the cooling fans. There we go. We made up 3 minutes. I didn't. I made bits of it. I made some of the AI cars you see around it. I made the waves which you see moving on the seafront, and I made the faux shadow system, but I did not make the map. I am working on my own map, which is called Farthington, which I stream quite a lot. Probably. At the moment, we're 10 minutes late, so we're flooring it. I know 9-plate Saxo as well. Yes, it is a Peugeot 106, though they are the same body as the Saxo. Like, so on the way back, I reckon we're going to take the number 12, and then we're going to do the number 100, and then we're going to call it a day. I might poke around with my sim for those of you who are interested, and then that'll be it. Yeah, they're becoming rare now. Flooring it downhill. Boing. Yep. It is Ross driving time. That's pretty normal outside of London. London's weird in having tall ones. Yep. Yes, it's the night bus. And we're pretty much here. And I don't know which bay is ours, so I'm going to turn the route markers back on really quickly. Yes, I did see that. That was... oh, that's ours. Right. Hasn't been rebuilt at all yet, as far as I know. I wonder if it's still at the depot. There you go. You can see what happened midway through that route. Right, so next order of business. We have the number 12, which presumably that's the next number 12, which is just setting off now. From Stoneleigh, 15:30:45. It is 15, so yeah. Does not falter. Do you mean like stutter? Do you mean like low frame rate issues? The map I'm making so far performs pretty well. Which service is number 12? Which route is number 12 going to be on? Harbour, 17:30. Perfect. Yeah, they'll probably rebuild the whole thing. Right, so number 12. So this is 012. No, sorry, no, not 012. It's 012. No. 01200, and the route was presumably just route 2. Maybe? Yeah, that's the one. That's our destination set up. This is the Volvo B70L ALX 400, which is available on Fellas Film. You know, I'm going to be naughty and do an unguided reverse. Hello. I'm doing alright. We've just finished the... No, it's too tight to turn to the right there. We've just finished doing the... Now that the fire engine is gone, nearly gone. Yeah, some people might say that it's too loud. What? There we go. They were so annoyed. I don't get it. Like, that's the thing. Fire engines are really loud. That's the point. But God, everyone was annoyed. I just don't know why. Like, I made them quieter and I made them turn their sirens off when they stop, so that when they're stuck behind you in traffic, they don't make quite as much noise. Well, our one subsides all the time. Yeah, you might have noticed the boats in the harbour were all bobbing around as well. I don't know if you noticed that, but they all move very slightly with the waves. In fact, let's just pop back to the harbour for a moment, because we didn't really take a moment to appreciate it. But yeah, that's the harbour. With all the boats bobbing around. They also make gentle clinking sounds. And now we get to thrash the bus back up the hill again. That is steeper than it looks. Let's see if we can get some cooling fans on. I mean, I've got my foot flat to the floor. If it's not kicking down now, it's never going to kick down. Floor it. I have a suspicion that people are going to make lots of videos of buses going up this hill. If you ask Ross, you might get away with that. If you ask anyone else, I think probably yes. My steering wheel is disintegrating slightly. Like, it's served me well for several years now. It's stuck with me through several 24-hour, 6-hour, 12-hour races. But the leather is starting to peel off. Well, no, it's not starting to peel off. It's been peeling off for ages. Go on. That is correct, yes. I've been working on it for a little while. Me and a couple of other people. I was going to show it at the very end of the stream once we finished all the routes, because I don't want to show it midway through the stream, because like you all came here to see West Country 3, so I don't want to just swap it out for my own stuff midway through. And I think that worked perfectly. There are the cooling fans. And they're off again. Yep, that's the one. Ultimate Mega Thrash! This is another unique feature. An escape lane. For lorries whose brakes fail going down the hill, it's a gravel trap. I forgot there was a stop here. Oh, a street light would be terrible on this route. It would be perfect for this route. It would also be terrible on this route.
Hi, handsome.
So you know, my own sim, I've been working entirely on the editor tools for the time being. Now I don't know what the number 12 does around here, so I'm just going to turn the route markers on temporarily. Yep, changing from first into first. That's the one. A scrap heap? Hey! No, none of you? Fair enough. Presumably that means my bus is full. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Well, that's a default horn. Hello. I'm not sure I do. I mean, maybe I do. Like, if it's Dazza, then I do. But, OMSI AI, OMSI AI, OMSI AI, OMSI AI. Yeah, at the moment my own sim is basically just editor tools, because I am not purchasing my Orca. Nope, not happening. So, yeah, I've written about it enough. That it is relatively easy to make a driving simulator in a game engine like Unreal or Unity. What is very hard to do is make a completely user-moddable driving simulator. And, how I get these good frame rates: Ryzen 5 3600 at 4.2 GHz and a GTX 1080. But yeah, I suspect, I've been keeping a close eye on all the various sims coming out soon. I suspect that none of them have really appreciated the importance for an OMSI replacement of user modability. So I suspect they'll be taking the easy route. I say easy route with sort of a kind of a pinch of salt, because it's not easy by any stretch of the imagination, but I suspect they're just making a game, and they're not making, like, effectively a game engine for users to build their own stuff in. So the way I'm approaching it is that basically the map making process should be as enjoyable as actually driving. I'm doing alright. We're nearly on the last route of the day. I don't think it will. I don't think it'll have the mod tools or the physics or the sounds to do it. I'm keeping a close eye on it because obviously, like, since I'm working on my own one, if somebody else is going to make a replacement which everyone else is going to take up, then there's no point in me wasting my time. But I don't think that any of them is going to quite be what people want. I'm not sure that any of the potential OMSI replacements have been... we'll watch this space on the multiplayer front. It's one of the features I want to include, and one of the people I'm working with is quite experienced in networking and that kind of thing. I don't know. But I know that Lotus isn't the game that I want. I'm pretty sure the bus isn't the game that I want. So I'm making my own. Oh, there was a stop there. Well, I didn't see them in time. What I always say with that is they should have stuck the hand out earlier. I'm not about to jam on the brakes in traffic. Plus this route runs every 15 minutes, plus a 122 alongside it. So, you know, it's not as if they're going to have to wait long. That is a surprisingly common thing for people to do. Just tell everyone that your hard drive broke. It'll be fine. Just go, sorry guys, my hard drive broke. All progress is gone, but I'm starting again now. Yep, all 148 of them. Now it does suck when you lose stuff in OMSI. It just seems to happen so often that it's comical. Yeah. Like mine are being backed up to a local server every night, and that local server then gets backed up to a remote server. And meanwhile, my own simulator project is all on GitHub, a private GitHub repository. Though that being said, I did recently release 2 tools I worked on a while ago publicly on GitHub. So I made a tool to convert Blender files straight into scenery objects to make the conversion process quicker. No, that wouldn't have happened. Hey, I'm back on time again. Well, better. is maybe not the word, but it does more of what people want, because the people who want a bus sim, what they want is the main things they want are the driving physics and the sounds to be accurate, and they want, this is the most important thing, the single most important thing, they want their bus in it. Like, they want the one that runs past their house. That's the bus that they want in it. And as a game developer, you are never going to be able to make every bus for every single person who wants to play the game to drive. So your only hope is full modability. And I'm not sure that the makers of the bus have really appreciated that, because I believe Aerosoft commissioned it from TML specifically as an OMSI replacement, but I just don't think that TML understands why OMSI has stuck around for the last 9 years. But you know, the reason it's hung around is because of the modability. Like, because there's endless variety of content. There's more content than any... Like, the graphics are shit. The performance is terrible. But there's more content than any game made by a single developer could hope to have. And that's what keeps it alive. The other thing is the relatively low cost of entry.
Hello, mate.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, this is part of why I'm coming at my sim from two directions. One of them being a bus sim with really good, or a driving sim rather, because like it might as well be a driving simulator, because all you need to do to make a driving simulator is make a bus simulator and then turn off the bus stops, and voila, a driving simulator. Good job. So it might as well be a general purpose driving simulator. Oh, hello. Oh, right, there's a fire engine behind me. What was I saying? My brain is shut down. We will see. It shouldn't be too hard to introduce just an extra animation where they flag the bus down. That shouldn't be too difficult. Ah yeah, so the two directions I'm coming at it from is partly a making your own city or making your own town simulator, but where you can get down to ground level and walk and drive around it. And part of it is making a driving simulator with a really good world editor. So those are the two separate angles I'm coming at it from. Oh boy. There was one of those in Durham while I was there, and the counter protest was like 10 times the size. Yeah, that's a thing. I should probably just turn off all the channel point stuff. Cities bus lines. Heh. How very original. It's provisionally titled Move Sim, as in Moddable Vehicle Simulator Move Sim, M-O-V-E Sim. Now that's the working title at the moment. I'm not sure that quite encompasses the full concept of what it is, but you know. Oh god, everyone's timing out everyone now. So the channel points, the timeouts. The way that works is just a moderator has to do the timing out for you. I think it's a pretty good name, honestly. It's better than Bus Simulator 2020X. That's the one. I spent so long trying to come up with a good name, and that's the best one I've come up with so far. I see, if you use your channel points, you can just time people out willy-nilly because you're a moderator. Also, I'd like to point out that this stream has been going for nearly 3 hours now, and we've done 4 out of the 5 routes in one direction each. Which means that when you include all the routes driving in both directions, this map has about 6 hours worth of drive time on it. I just went because the car in front of me went, not for the green light. The 5 routes are the 100, which is a park and ride, the 122, which is a seafront tourist route, the 12, which is what we're driving now, which goes from the hospital, which is where we're about to end up, to Stoneleigh, the same place the 122 terminates. Then the 35, which goes from Paignton to Totnes via all the villages, and once an hour it also extends out to a trading estate on the other side of Totnes, so it's actually, that's the longest route in the map, it's about 40 minutes. And then there is the X35, which goes from Paignton to Totnes but skips all the villages on the way and is basically just floor it on A roads for the whole route. That's a rundown of the routes. So yeah, there's about 6 hours of drive time. Oh no, the right filter is green. Everything you see here is free. Yep. You know what, shall we finish off with the he started out back in like 2013 or something, making the closest thing he could make to the real thing. But remember, at that point it was all right-hand drive and all German assets, so like the closest he could get wasn't very close at all. Yes, this is completely free. Everything you see here is free. Just because, I guess. I mean, part of it is because the oh yeah, so it is. Well, we're terminating here now. What's the not in service code here? No, that one. There we go. Not in service 00001. So part of it is because everyone who's making it has done it as a hobby and not as part of a job. Part of it is because it would just be a pain. Because you have to make sure you're absolutely definitely not using anything you don't have the rights to. And part of it is because the intention is to make another enlarged version of it later, which is payware. But yeah, anyway, I am terrible for going off track mid-sentence. It was started out in about 2013 when the only assets there were all German assets. So at that point, what Jaden was making was the closest thing he could make to the real thing. Since then, a lot more realistic stuff has come out. Obviously we're driving on the left side of the road now instead of the right hand side. And it is a lot more possible to make stuff that's much closer to real life, and kind of people expect things to be closer to real life now as well. But this map, since it started out back when that wasn't a thing, was never going to be that close to real life, but everything was already given the real life names. And yes, we just didn't really want to change the names, and that's the reason why it has real names but fictional places. So bits that are still to be added and are intended to be in a future payware release are a National Express style service going on that dual carriageway that we just drove under, going all the way out to an airport nearby, which is modelled on Bristol Airport. Is it Bristol Airport? I think it's Bristol Airport. So that is a National Express type route. It'll run from Totnes through Paignton here, and it will run out to a representation of Bristol Airport. So about like 15 minutes of dual carriageway driving, plus the bit, so 15 minutes out that way, and another 10 or 15 minutes going that way, if you see what I mean. And then the other route is the 525, which is sort of the backwater route. Was always planned to be added from the start. Some of the roads are already laid out for the 525. So if you look around the back of Berry Pomeroy, you can see the road that it's supposed to take going out of the back of there when it comes to time to do that. That sort of thing, yeah. And this is the park and ride. He finally made a fan-shaped park and ride. Just don't ask me. I mean, part of it is the way he makes things is very different. Part of it is extremely experienced. I don't know. I don't know if that's what it's meant to represent or not. Yep, that's the plan. I'm just going to take over the bus. There you go. This bus is mine now. So the last route, I think it's just using the regular paint and livery. This is what there is. I mean, there's plenty of room to get around another bus if you wanted to here.
Oh, hello.
So, what's a timetable? 18:00. So actually we leave as soon as these guys have all boarded. Off you get. Thank you. OMSI AI is great.
Hello.
What?
Hello. Hiya, driver.
Ah yes. I'll just turn my speakers down a little bit because you can. I had them turned up for the B70L, but you can hear what's going on through my speakers as well as, or you can hear my speakers through the microphone. That's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, it's not a very long route. Why I feel like it's an appropriate last route to do. Then I guess we'll go and pop it back at the depot. I don't think so, no. I distinctly remember when it was releasing this, going through the gearbox script file, having a look at it, and noticing there was a variable in it called kickdown enable, which was set to 0. So I changed that to a 1, and now it has kickdown. Well, it's such an old bus now. Nobody? Okay, fair enough. Morphe started releasing his packs on Fellas Film as well. I've never been on one. Though aren't they... Isn't Ashok Leyland ditching the Optare name now as the brand name? Bonk. Sorry, they've called it something like Switch Mobility or something like some generic something like that. Yeah, that's a rubbish name. Like they're ditching the history of the brand for no reason. I don't like it. Now we've only got 3 of them left. Yeah, that's such a rubbish name. Sorry, I'm focusing on chat instead of driving now. Plus the suspension in this is just so bouncy. But it sounds like you make, like, electric wheelchairs. Yeah, exactly that. It's just a bad name. Like Optare, if you search the word Optare, it will lead you to one thing and one thing only, which is the company Optare. Like, there's just no reason to rebrand it. It's a good brand name. Switch Mobility is just so generic. Just a load of Jobsworths sitting around a meeting table went, like, we're bored, we don't feel important enough, let's rebrand the company. That'll make us feel better about ourselves. Anyway, I'll stop moaning about that now. Well, I think ADL knows the worth of their brand. Bonk. Does nobody want to get on or off? Okay. Oh god, when did it come out? Like 2016? 2017, the most recent version? But yeah, 2.9 was just supposed to be like a, like... Buses of the West Country 3 was already in development when we released 2.9, because, like, Jaden had started on Buses of the West Country 3, and we kind of knew it was going to take a long time. There you go, I thought it was 2017. We knew it was going to take a long time, but Buses of the West Country 2.8 was just a bit, like, tatty. There were a lot of holes in the pavement and bits that didn't quite work and bits of traffic that didn't work properly. And it was just all a bit of a mess. So, basically, we decided that while Jaden was working on Bus of the West Country 3, we would we'd go back over Bus of the West Country 2.8 and just touch it up until Bus of the West Country 3 was ready. And, I mean, it worked. Like, it gave people something to drive until something else came out. The big problem with it has always been that it's just got one route. But now Bus of the West Country 3 is finally here, and it has two completely unique routes. Because it has sort of the 35 end of the map and the 12 end of the map, and they're completely separate from each other. No, they're not just reusing each other's roads. Yes, and then lots of extra variations. So like I said, I've only done one direction of each route so far. And we've been streaming for 3 hours now, which means that the total driving time of the map is about 6 hours. If you want to do all of the routes in both directions, it would take you 6 hours. It's planned to release very, very soon. Like, very soon. Okay, okay. Yes, the bit between the hospital and the city centre is shared. Fair enough.
Hiya.
Ah yes, it is going to be on Fellas Film, therefore it shall release this month. That's how Fellas Film works. If it's going to be on Fellas Film, it will release this month. Yeah, so the way this is going to work is that we are going to drop it at some point in the middle of the night. We're not going to tell you when. It's just going to happen when it's ready. Nobody has said it's coming this month. Where have you got this idea from? But yeah, what's going to happen is that when it's ready... Nope, zero dependencies, none at all. What's going to happen is that when it's finished, when it is completely done, it will be dropped in the middle of the night, or the early hours of the morning, or something, sometime when there aren't many people online, and people just wake up and they will find it's there. Movies say coming soon, like, years before things actually come out. Exactly that. Because if I were to say in front of all of you now, like we had like 50 something people earlier, if I had just said, right, it's releasing right this second on Fellas Film, go download it now, then what would have happened is all the servers would have broken. It would all have fallen over and nobody would have been able to get it and everyone would complain. So what we're doing instead is we're going to release it when nobody is expecting it, and then that'll spread out the download time across like multiple hours. No, I don't think everyone would have left. Plus, people would have to have something to do while it downloads. And of course it wouldn't have downloaded because the servers would have crashed because everyone was trying to download it. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. 9 multiple gigabyte files. Well, no. Like BTV's pack, which is a few hundred megs. The map. Yeah. The 100 goes from the park and ride to the centre of town, back to the park and ride. It doesn't stay, it doesn't terminate in the middle of town. It runs from the park and ride to the park and ride. Yep, it's a loop. I feel like the park and ride will be quite a relaxing route to drive because you can just sort of trundle around in circles for hours.
Good evening. What is with you?
The possibility is that you don't need it because it'll release so soon that there's no point in early access anymore.
Evening.
Yeah, I just feel like the 100 will be it's quite a nice gentle route for just trundling backwards and forwards on. Just go round and round in circles, very gently. Eating leftover lettuce. Spoken like a true Scotsman. Like less than 5 minutes. I don't know why I particularly like that little bit of road. Well, we did do some YouTube early access a while back. I think I've heard of them. microphone so I don't keep hitting it when I try to release the handbrake. Yep. It's the sound of me hitting the microphone stand when I let go of the handbrake. I've been told it's a sort of boing noise. Dong. Yep. That's the one. Yep, that's the sound of me bumping into the microphone stand when I very laggy band pinging. I used the left and right arrows on the D-pad. Ah, okay. Once again, nobody wants on or off. Oh no, they do want off. Oh right, yes. Oh, all these people have been desperately trying to get off all the way through here and I just haven't noticed. Because there's no indication on the screen. Or there is and I've forgotten it. You'd never tell that I made this bus. Yeah, it goes ding, but like I forget about the ding. Like, probably some of these people got on at the hospital and have been waiting for me to let them off all the way round. It's not tall enough. Not because the field of view of this bus is not quite right for that. Though to be honest, having a wider field of view just makes things feel a bit weird. Like, this is about the right field of view. Like, that's more like the real field of view. No, it's about the same. And it's honestly impressive that it's about the same, because the map is so much more detailed and larger. And Bus of the West Country 2.9 was honestly a pretty lightweight map. The worst part is this bit around the dual carriageway and the park and ride. Yeah, this feels a lot more natural to me from the driving seat. But obviously for the stream it's just going to look weird because all you can see is just road. So I'll put it back to where you're used to it. That's the thing with correct fields of view. You get this a lot in sim racing. Because having the correct field of view makes it much easier to judge your speed and your braking points. But because everybody is used to everybody's used to very wide fields of view in video games, because monitors are typically quite small and quite a long way away from you, they find it weird having the correct field of view, and I can see why. The other thing is the way fields of view affect your perception of speed. There's a wider field of view makes it look like things are going faster. I'm honestly surprised at how well the C400R performs. Oh, did he just do it? Did he decide to do it? The mad lad did it. He fucking did it, mate. He only fucking did it. Look at that button. After all of what I said about he's going to release it in the middle of the night when nobody's expecting so he don't break the servers, he's gone and done it anyway. Ross! Ginger! Yep, now the forums break. Told you didn't need early access. Fair enough, it was our server admin. But yeah, I told you didn't need early access. Let's see admin chat for further information then. He's probably insisting that his nodes are up to the task. Has he said nodes? Ah, thank you for the follow. I did not see who that was. Did I get a notification? Jamie, hello. Thank you for the follow. I do sim racing and I do map making for OMSI. Those are the two things I do. He hasn't used the word nodes. Well, there you go. It turns out this isn't a pre-release stream. This is a release stream. Right, okay. So, I changed my tune. Our server admin has decided that our servers can deal with it. So, all of you go download it right now, stress test his servers, and see if they all break for him. It's your duty. It is your patriotic duty. Just... Boing. I hit the microphone again. Off you go. Go and stress test the servers. We will watch Fella's film die from here. That's probably what he's done to make the servers cope. He's probably limiting the speed which everyone can download at, so the overall speed is still the same. Oh, has somebody managed to review it already? You off? You off to download? No, let me reload the page. Yep, so it'll be being rate limited at the moment. So that'll be to save the servers. No, it won't. Completely separate. Well, there you go. It turns out this is a release stream. And the viewer count goes down. And it's gone. Hang on. Let me rename it. Don't text and drive, kids. Does that do it? There you go. We release stream now. So, what to expect from my game right now? At the moment, it does not yet have like drivable vehicles implemented. It doesn't have AI vehicles implemented. At the moment, it is just the beginnings of a world editor, and that's it. That's pretty quick, honestly. That's not bad. Okay, server man. Okay. Not bad. Colour me impressed. That was an earlier test version. I stripped everything back to make a new clean repository. Yeah. Right. We're gonna go to the depot. True. And didn't Strategy hype up a particular release date as well? The self-deprecation jokes. Yeah, but everyone was waiting. But nobody knew what day this was going to come out. You've got a small following for it. Yep. All of them busy downloading. They know. They know. Yep. Just F5, 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 F5. Ha! Yes. Just, well, this is the opposite of delayed. It's released sooner than I was saying it was going to. Though, to be honest, that strategy's probably also softened the load, because some people will have gone, well, the thing that... Okay. The thing that I find confusing is when people just pull release dates and times out of their arses, like, oh, it'll be released at, like, 11 o'clock, I know it. Like, how do you know it? I don't know it, and I'm the one releasing it. You know? Just, it really frustrates me. But yeah, probably my tactic of, telling people it's not going to come out today might have taken some load off the server, because some people might have gone away. How are people, like, why are people reviewing it already? There should be a time limit between, like, a minimum time between when it gets uploaded and when it gets reviewed. Yeah, there'll just be reviews saying, "Oh my god, I've been looking forward to this for so long." Well, like, wait 10 more minutes. You know? I mean, true. But yeah, there we go. Buses of the West Country 3, West Country 3, whatever you want to call it. It's done. It's here now. But yeah, there's a... the next expansion is an airport, a motorway airport route going out this way. And the 525 going around the narrowest of back roads. Yeah, let's nip over to the harbour. Yeah. because Jaden likes putting crashed Peugeot 106s everywhere. If there's somewhere you can possibly put a Peugeot 106 on its roof, then he'll have put one there. I did make one other alteration to it before releasing it. So I made a couple of tweaks to the way the waves worked before releasing it, or before uploading it. And the other thing I did was I reduced the number of... I think they look good. Like, they don't look good if you stare at them. They look really weird if you stare at them. But if they're in your peripheral vision, it just adds a bit of movement. So, yeah. Oh, what, just one sitting under the ocean surface? Yeah. That sounds about right. I'm just heading over to Stoneleigh. I think, I just feel like from somewhere like here as you're going past, it just adds a bit of movement to the side of the scene. And yes, I'm pretty proud of them. I'm just proud of them because nobody else had thought of that before. And I thought of it, so I'm proud of myself for it. Yeah, exactly. It's sort of set dressing, really. That's the thing you've got to be thinking about when you're making a map, is that what you're really doing is trying to make something that looks good from the point of view of the bus as you drive it. Oh, I like that scene. That's pretty. I'm going to post that screenshot in my server. So you can see the full glory of it. Oh, I can't post it in my server because the file will be too large. Let's make it half the size. Yep, big stream problems. There we go. Yeah. That's it released. This is just a lovely looking scene to look at. Right, so who wants, now that I've dragged you along for the last 3.5 hours, who wants a quick nosy at what I've been up to with my own sim? Keep in mind, extremely work in progress, full of bugs. Here it is, down your drinks. Just temper your expectations. Temper your expectations. What I have been working on is the map editor and the map editor only. And ignore everything that's going on outside of this window here, because this is all just engine stuff. Coolio. See you in a bit. I am in the wrong scene. Here we go. Let me turn on 200 downloads already. Yeah. So, here's my skybox, which is a real-time dynamic sky with volumetric clouds, which does things such as these sunrises. And these are some of my trees. This is my grass painting system. And you can just paint grass like you might expect. And here are some various weather effects. Cloudy 3 is my favourite. Here are some terrain tools. Here is an undo tool, so you can, like, if you mess up your terrain sculpting, like, oh no, I've buried my buildings. There's an undo tool, so it's instantly better than OMSI's editor. Here is object placement. There are several ways you can do object placement. There's the OMSI way, so you press G to grab, or N for new, or R for rotate. And that is the OMSI way of doing things, but then there's also this widget on the screen, which can also do extra things like scale. At the moment, no auto-saving, but it would be very easy to implement that. But yeah, you can do things like scaling stuff and tweaking stuff up and down. Here's an important one. You can change between local and global space. So the difference is, when you're in global space mode, this is the global x-axis, and this is the global y-axis. When you're in local mode, this is the local x and local y. For how this is at the moment, that doesn't matter so much, but if I, for instance, tilt this tree over at an extreme angle like that, then if I try to move it around and pull it along this axis, it'll bury itself in the ground, because that's the direction that its local axis there is. So if I then just put it into global space, then I'm just moving it along the ground again. And if I hit this square instead of these arrows, then it moves in 2 axes at once, like that. So there's those 2 axes, and there's those 2 axes. And then there's this tool, which is a multi-tool. So this can do all the things. And then there's an undo button, so you can just undo it all. One of the nice things I've got is Zen mode, so if you press Z, you hide all the UI, and then you just have the tools you were working with still there, and you press Z again, and it comes back. All of these trees have LODs, so they pop out to lower detail versions of them at distances. And like you can tell, they all have, like, everything has proper shadowing. So, like, yeah, everything has proper shadowing. Which is a pretty big deal compared to OMSI. Everything has physically based materials. So if you look at this moss on the ground here, if I turn the sun down, you can see that even though this is a flat texture, it still looks 3D. The way the light bounces off it looks 3D, which is because it's got normal maps and specular maps. And I can show off the spec maps by showing you this. So you can see the little bit of water between the rocks here. So this is all PBR materials, physically based rendering. Yes, so Bus of the West Country 3 has been released. It is out now. Go and get it. Here is Bus of the West Country 3 now released. And the other thing with the ground textures is that you can, if I just make this go slowly, you can see instead of just like covering over the top of this moss and just replacing it, what's actually happening is the higher parts of this texture here are coming up above the lower parts here, so you can mix the moss in with the rocks. And you can do that with other different materials as well, so you can see you can mix all of these together to make interesting combinations like that. And of course you can undo everything. Everything has Control Z attached to it, so everything is undoable. And there's buildings, and you can place buildings and move them around and scale them up and down and delete them. And then the thing I've been working on most recently is splines. This is still a bit buggy, but this is the spline system I'm working with at the moment. This is what I've been making recently. So it's very, very similar to OMSI's in the sense of you have constant radius curves, and they're defined by a 2D profile at the end. But the way you place them is designed to be a lot quicker than it is in OMSI. So you don't like add a new one and then have to type in all the numbers here. You just click and drag, and then it's there. So yeah. Oh yeah, and it also responds to terrain. So if I sculpt a bit of terrain like that and then extend this spline here, you can see it does respond to the terrain like that, which will make it a lot easier to make roads on hills, because you won't have to constantly guess what gradient this road should be at in order to make it hit the top of that hill perfectly. All you do is you just draw it to the top of the hill, and then it's there. It's at the top of the hill. So you know, there's a lot left to do. There's a lot of tools left to make. There's a lot of graphical stuff to work out. There's obviously all of the driving part of it left to do. But most of the work so far has been in making what's essentially a game engine inside another game engine. So I'll just quickly show you the format the mods are held in. So mods, I'm still working out pathing and stuff. So mods are held in packs. Every pack is completely self-sufficient. So if I want to share you a pack full of trees, all I do is I send you this folder here with these trees in, and that's it. It contains some objects, it contains some trees. So instead of OMSI's system where you have the top level, and then in that top level you have a scenery objects folder and a splines folder and a fonts folder and whatnot, and when you package stuff up you have to sort of gather together the bits from all those folders, and that's very easy to make mistakes in. For this, you just copy the entire folder and it's there and has everything you need in it. So yeah, I think that's pretty cool. And yeah. But that is what I have been working on. And I have... Oh, this is an interesting thing. So one thing I've been planning on doing, you might notice that this is huge. This is actually an entire hill. So one thing I'm planning on doing is having distant scenery objects, which you can place sort of out of the tiles of the map. Did you see what I mean? So stuff that you can sort of put as a backdrop to fill in space in the background, like that. But yeah, there's a long way to go and there's a lot to do, but I'm pretty happy with how it's looking so far. And let me just put a sunset on for you again because I like the way the sunsets look. But yeah, that is what I've been working on. And there's also simpler versions of the clouds for performance reasons, and it's all completely dynamic. Actually, I sometimes feel like these ones look a bit nicer than the volumetric ones. I don't know. Oh, and there's also latitudes and longitudes, so you can have weather that's appropriate for where in the world you've made your map. Real world weather options are absolutely possible, yes. The weather system I'm using has an API for that. And yeah, and all of the skies are completely dynamic. So as you change the weather, the clouds actually, like, vanish. But yeah. I don't have snow integrated properly yet. Like I can show you what the snow looks like in the air. Also, this is a ground glitch that I know what... Well, I don't quite know what causes it, but I know how to deal with it. Yeah. Anyway, that is about all of the stuff that my sim has in it at the time being. There's a lot of stuff left to do, but yeah, I'm happy with how it looks so far. And I should, just the last thing, adding tiles. There you go, I've added a whole bunch of tiles now. This is about 6 months of work, on and off. So that's 6 months including time that I've spent, like, just not doing anything because I just finished uni, and time I've spent working on Farthington. So for the people of you, for people who are here who haven't been here before, I might as well just show you. Farthington is the OMSI project that I'm working on at the moment. It is a map based heavily on St Ives in the Cambridgeshire Fens. And I'm making basically everything for it from scratch. So part of the reason that Jaden's been able to make West Country 3 so fast is because he's only using assets other people have made, basically. Some of them made custom for the map, but he's basically only using stuff that other people have made. I say fast, it's been 5 years. Or 3 years at least. 4? Whatever. Farthington is being made completely with custom buildings, so I've been doing a lot of streaming recently, making all the buildings and stuff and going through the entire process, showing it all on stream. And the other thing I've done recently is I've released the tools that I made to make my own workflow faster so that other people can play with them. So I live nearby, yep. So this is the bit that I made most recently on stream. This area up here. So I spent a while making this whole road down here. All of this is made with objects. It's all very efficient and very highly optimized. There you can see I started out by making all the roads along here. And then I have started going back the other way down the same road, making all the buildings. So yeah, this is the first kind of completed area up around here. So all of these buildings I made myself last week. All of this is stuff that I made last week. This bit up here. Yeah. It's just a very ordinary English town. Which is kind of what I want. I just wanted to make something very ordinary and just do it nicely. But yeah, so if that's a thing you want to see me do, you can come and watch me do that. If you want to watch racing, that's the other thing that I do. I do endurance racing, like every couple of weekends. Here's another area that's finished. This is an area I'm particularly pleased with, actually. I really like how this bit's turned out. Yeah. Anyway, West Country 3 is out. Go and download it. Go and have some fun with it. Hopefully it performs well and isn't too buggy for you. And if you want to watch me working on any of this other stuff, you can come back if you want. So yeah, thank you for coming along. It is time for me to head off. So yeah. Thanks very much. That was a fun stream. I will see you all later. Bye-bye. Not going live shortly.